Hello, hi Prem. Hi, welcome to the Fairly Current Show.
Thanks. I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Early on, we've had your comrade at arms, Mr. Stephen Gunn, who also came on the show. So now we like to talk to you about this very important milestone for Malaysiakini, the 10 years. Now,
10 years today.
10 years today.
Today.
Okay, today. The day that we're shooting this is the 20th of November.
Particularly at this time, we went live.
Oh my God! Wow, at 10. Okay, we won't disclose too many things. Okay, but when you started 10 years ago, it was I imagine the question of how are you going to sustain the work, not just the drive, the passion, but actually sustain financially, was probably something yang dipertimbangkan secara mendalam and seriously. And more recently, you went into subscription model. Can you tell us a little bit about why you went into this and how has it been successful, if it has been?
Yeah, I think when we first started 10 years ago, we actually didn't have much of a clue of what we would do. We thought maybe advertising would sustain in the early days because of the whole .com boom, but of course advertising didn't sustain. And 2 years down the line, we were caught in a very nasty situation about having to choose of either being very small, having a 2-3% outfit, and particularly being like a non-profit, depending on volunteer or grants, or actually becoming a real media organization. And at that time, when we tell people why don't we consider subscription, it was a big joke. Everybody had a good laugh. Oh my God, and other people laugh at us, or even people who actually liked our alternative news said, you got to be crazy. You have built up an audience of 100,000 people. Now you're going to cut them off. So first of all, it was a very difficult decision, but really there was not really much choice. We did an analysis. We said at the end of the day, who is our greatest supporter? Who really wants Malaysiakini? It's the reader. So at that time we had about 100,000 readers. In about 2001, and we thought maybe 10% would subscribe. We went live with a subscription on 2002. But by the end of that year, only 1%, less than 1,000 readers had subscribed. So it was a huge blow, So that I think, going from free to subscription is a very difficult task, especially in the initial part of things. But over the years, people have got used to it. People like Malaysiakini, and it has grown quite considerably. Today we have about 12,000 subscribers, many more readers. There's a lot of sharing of passwords, so when you see 12,000 accounts, each one is practically shared by about 10-15 people.
So it's basically like how you gauge circulation. One newspaper goes to 3 readers, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Right,
so there's a kind of multiple. But at least the physical paper actually has to be read. With the internet, the same password can, you just email and it goes out. Right. So there's a lot of sharing of passwords.
And is this a problem for you that you only have something like about 10% of your total readership is subscribed to your service?
At the moment, it's about 8% of total readership, because actually the Chinese and Malay sections are still free, so you don't have to subscribe for the Chinese and Malay sections.
Right.
It's only the English section which you have to subscribe for.
Okay.
So our target is that if we can hit 10% of our total audience being subscribers, we're quite happy. We don't. You don't really need 100% of them to be subscribers.
I see.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about the Malay and the Chinese sections. One thing which is quite interesting, I find, is Malaysiakini, now that you have the password and stuff, right? There are certain portions of it that you make free access. Yeah. Also on the English side. Can you talk a bit about the strategy behind this? Like why is it that certain pieces of news in English are made available free, as well as why did you start up the English, the Malay and Chinese sections, but make it completely free?
Okay, actually in the English section only the letters are free. Within the news, it's not the news articles actually not free. But sometimes when we do what we call vox pops, which is like a summary of what people are saying, or your say, which is a summary of what comments have been put in the reader, those are free. So what we feel is that the content is generated by the reader, by the readers themselves, the subscribers, whether the comments or letters, that should be given back, because that doesn't really incur cost to us, not that much. But the content that we create ourselves, the news or the articles that we buy, the opinion pieces, when there's a cost to us, then we say that that cost has to be shared with the subscriber. In the Chinese and Malay section, actually the number of staff dedicated to those sections are actually much fewer than the English section.
I see.
So in a way that we can't do this sort of kind of full offering for the Malay section and Chinese section. So therefore we say, look, let's just do a little bit and give it out for free.
Okay, going back to the subscription thing, right? I think a lot of people have been wondering about this, and you started this out in 2002, right?
Yes,
You started.
that's right.
So does it mean, and a lot of people are starting to look at, the subscription model. So I just wanted to ask you. So Rupert Murdoch wanted to try this out. So does it mean that you have beaten him to the game, or how?
We would like to think so. We would like to think that Murdoch is coming into this 7 years late. But I mean, I think that when you're earning lots of advertising revenue, then going subscription, you probably don't want to do it. I think it's a very painful effort. Believe me, it's extremely painful, especially when there's so much of free content out there. Today, even in Malaysia, we get say, "Oh, you are paid, and everybody else is free." And it's a lot of hassle. Yeah. So I think that but if you really look at the economics of the web, it's very, very different economics than traditional media, and I think people don't realize the total differentiation in the economics of the web. If you look at before the internet, 90% of ad revenue would go to some form of media, either radio, television, or print. 95%. Very little go outside these three areas. But if you look at the net itself today, 90% goes to non-media organizations. It goes to Google, it goes to Yahoo, people who may put together content but don't do journalism in itself. They are technology companies which put together content or facilitate content. So there's a divergence between what we call media and journalism, right? Media can be done. I can be a media, I can have a lot of fun, crowdsource content and things like that, and do it very cheaply and get some advertising for it. Journalism is an extremely expensive process. It's human resource hungry. People got to go out there, verify the facts, check the facts, get the content out. And I do not believe that advertising alone, especially when 90% is going to search engines like Google and others, I do not believe that on the internet, advertising itself can sustain good journalism.
Now, Malaysiakini is not just known for its just for the website. Recently, you've also started new platforms.
Sure.
Can you share with us the thinking behind why do you, if you're already trying to sustain Malaysiakini, why are you going into and venturing into these other platforms?
Well, we feel that Malaysiakini has got a certain audience. Normally it's like 30 and above, 25, 30 above to about 50, and interested in politics and things like that. We do recognize that in other areas, people are not so much interested in politics. So one thing we did, we launched Voice, which is really much on 18 to 25 site, voice.my, and that's about music, it's about lifestyle, but the slogan is to be independent, and so it carries the same ethos of what Malaysiakini is doing, to think independently, evaluate the facts, express yourself, freedom of expression, but we're trying to put it into a younger context. So that's where people talk about, the music they like, what they think, what they're doing, We work a lot with entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs who are making changes in the world, So the different kind of effort. We also have a site called a digital library, which is actually a collection of historical documents of this country. The original constitution, the Reed Commission, the Cobalt Commission, 25 years of Rocket, 25 years of Aliran, So we want to capture the history of the country digitally so people can access it and actually read on it firsthand what the country was discussing. We've got a few other sites. We sell books online, like Kini Books,
Kini Books.
We have a training arm called the Southeast Asian Center for E-Media, where we do training. We've got a video site called Earth 24/7. So in many ways, we are trying things out and seeing what else would work. I think the history of the internet is that you can try 10 things and hopefully 1 or 2 will work. It's hard to actually be precisely that something's going to work or not.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
And just to say, I have subscribed. Have you? To Malaysiakini lah.